said this, if I'd have said this, or you'd have said this, Rita, I'm sure Keir Starmer and his police force would take a different view. But of course, I don't believe a word of it. First of all, it's perfectly true that the last Conservative government lost control of the borders. Absolutely true. It's also true, though, that Keir Starmer has lost control of the borders. Almost 1,000 people came in a couple of days ago, in one day alone, on the illegal crossings across the Channel, on boats organized by criminal gangs. When he says that it's not a right to land in Britain and just stay, he's right. It's just something anyone can do, however. It's just something that nobody in his government or his border force are doing anything to.
Keir Starmer, the myth, the man, the human equivalent of lukewarm tea, no sugar, no milk, served in a chipped mug labelled centrism, is living proof that if charisma were a crime, he'd be out on bail for total innocence. But Douglas Murray didn't come to politely sip tea, he came to rip the wallpaper off the room and turn Starmer's political beige into a Jackson Pollock explosion of sarcasm and brutal reality live on TV, leaving Starmer staring back like a man who just realised he'd brought a spreadsheet to a flamethrower fight.
Actual desire to tar anyone who has, as I say, not got a voice and is wanting to make their voice heard as a violent far-right neo-Nazi seems to me to be a big error by Keir Starmer and others. Because, if you can't say, we recognise your deep concerns about some things that have happened, including mass stabbings, terrorism, and much more. We understand your deep concerns, and we are going to try to get onto this and on top of this. But there is no excuse to turn out on the streets and be violent against your Muslim brothers and sisters and neighbours or anyone else. If they can't say that, they just cannot say it. They just have to go to the secondary thing.
Let's start with the basics. Starmer's grand political strategy is essentially cosplay. He wakes up every morning, stares into the mirror, and asks himself, how can I pretend to be even more boring than yesterday? Like he's endlessly auditioning for the role of generic British man #3 in a BBC drama absolutely no one asked for. With a vision of leadership that's not too left, not too right, not too anything, just aggressively bland, carefully calibrated to offend no one and inspire even fewer. Delivering politics with the soggy, joyless consistency of mashed potatoes left out in the rain.
Meanwhile, we've got Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister. Well, he's in danger of being arrested with some of the commentary he's been tweeting. Douglas, extraordinary stuff. He seems to be morphing into Donald Trump if his work on X is to be believed. In the past couple of weeks, he's posted about coming for illegal immigrants. He said he'll put Britain first and end the reliance to cheap overseas labour that's taking jobs from Brits. He posted, if you want to live in the UK, you should speak English. That's common sense. Bravo. He also said settlement in the UK is a privilege. That has to be earned. It's not a right. And he also said this about strong borders, that the Tories lost control of our borders and let net migration soar to record levels, undercutting hardworking Brits. I won't stand for it, Douglas.
Douglas Murray, on the other hand, doesn't do bland. He showed up armed with a flamethrower of facts, a scalpel of sarcasm, and a PhD in having absolutely no time for nonsense. And before Starmer could even blink, he was reduced to a political ghost haunting the studio, drifting through the lights. And cameras as the living embodiment of missed opportunities, evasive answers, and the faint lingering chill of budget cuts past.
The actual desire to tar anyone who has, as I say, not got a voice and is wanting to make their voice heard as a violent far-right neo-Nazi seems to me to be a big error by Keir.
Starmer's attempt to present himself as the saviour of Britain would be almost adorable if it weren't so tragically hilarious, like watching someone try to plug a hole in the Titanic with a tea towel. You can tell he sort of means well, in a vague, managerial way, but you're also painfully aware that disaster isn't just inevitable, it's probably already underway, and his grand vision amounts to little more than promising to be slightly less disappointing than the Tories, which, Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out.
Douglas, it's happened again. Keir Starmer is again tweeting like he's Donald Trump, an angry Donald Trump. He posted, "You have every right to be angry about small boat crossings. I'm angry too." And he's promised all sorts of action there. But Douglas, the number of people claiming asylum in the UK in the past year, in 2024, was the highest since records began. They're not really doing much to solve this issue.
Under Starmer, Labour morphed from an occasionally overexcited political force into something that feels like a risk management committee at a local council. Thrilling stuff. Led by a man who'd handle a national crisis by forming a subcommittee, scheduling a consultation and issuing a stern memo that everyone, including him, promptly ignores. Immigration crisis. We'll review it. Rising inflation. We're exploring options. Public sector strikes. We respect the process, which in plain English translates to the political equivalent of hiding under a duvet with headphones on, quietly, hoping reality gets bored and goes away.
What do you offer?
Revenge with knives. We don't give a damn anymore.
Who dies first?
Keir Starmer.
Douglas Murray wasn't having it. He sliced through the soggy platitudes, the focus group leadership nonsense, and the nerve of Starmer posing as a man with a plan when the only thing he's led successfully is a committee on not offending anyone, which failed anyway, because everyone's still offended. And now deeply bored, while Starmer keeps proving his rare gift for saying nothing at great length, opening with "let me be clear," and ending in such dense ambiguity you'd need a compass just to find the point.
An anomaly like that. Maybe Farage will blow it up. I mean, the Conservatives have blown themselves up. It'll be very hard to know what remains of them after the election. But it's a bizarre situation historically to end up in. The only country going to the left, and with real ignoramuses at the top. I can never get over the fact that David Lammy seems to believe that a man can grow a cervix if he takes the right medication.
And a man who was campaigning for us to rejoin the EU at one point. Now there's the irony there, isn't
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the irony of a Labour government which is almost certainly going to try to drag us back into the common market or something, some kind of back door or side door. The irony of that.
Douglas, ever the surgeon, exposed Starmer's politics as less about conviction and more about avoiding lawsuits, running like a risk-averse insurance analyst, careful, calculated and soulless. He's not leading a movement, just avoiding headlines, shifting policies like a weather vane in a hurricane, tuition fees scrapped until students lost enthusiasm, nationalisation embraced until corporations donated more. His memory's so selective it's like a Netflix algorithm stuck on grey suit. Politician mode.
Police force would take a different view. But of course, I don't believe a word of it. First of all, it's perfectly true that the last Conservative government lost control of the borders. Absolutely true. It's also true, though, that Keir Starmer has lost control.
Douglas practically had a bingo card of Starmer's reversals and contradictions, turning the whole exchange into a mix between a roast and a court case, with exhibit after exhibit of promises quietly filed under "just kidding," to the point where Starmer's campaign slogans might as well be "it depends." We're looking into it, and things have changed, otherwise known as the political equivalent of "it's not you, it's me."
I mean, Keir Starmer says, in a tweet, "I'm angry," in order to try to placate the actual, real anger of the British public, who just, whether it's Conservative or Labour, the migration just keeps going up and up endlessly. So that just illegal boat crossings across the channel in a single day again the other day were about 1,100 people. More than 1,000 people arriving illegally in a day. I mean, what's the point of having laws? What's the point of even pretending you have borders, let alone pretending that you're angry when they're being infringed, when they're being infringed every...
Starmer treats his own party like a crime scene he's covering up. Labour used to be about Labour, now it's about avoiding principle. Workers' rights get mumbled support. Union leaders meet him like an ex in a grocery store, and left-wing members are purged fast. Douglas didn't just note this, he roasted it, showing why no one trusts politicians, as Starmer treats grassroots activists like teens treat parents, relics of the past who don't get it, while his grand plan is running Labour as the Conservative Party in slightly different fonts.
in Britain, it's not just the two-tier policing system that Keir Starmer has overseen since coming into office. It's the fact that the police, local councillors, local councils, MPs, and others have all overseen this, and they've all overseen this, and it required.
Starmer's campaigning? Show up, smile awkwardly, say something beige, and leave before questions. Moving through constituencies like a man avoiding an ex at a wedding. Polite, brief, uncomfortable. Douglas Murray, meanwhile, delivered a flamethrower critique, holding up a mirror and asking, "Who even are you? Left, right, centre, hologram?" A social experiment in leading without saying anything? One thing's clear, he's never met a fence he didn't sit on. Cross-legged, sipping lukewarm tea.
Keir Starmer has suddenly discovered the startling news that men have a penis and women have a vagina. It is a departure from what he has said in the recent past. Indeed, he's performing quite a few backflips in this area. Let's have a look.
A woman can have a penis.
Look, I don't think we can conduct this debate with,
Trans rights are human rights, and I support the right to self-identification. I think we need to respect the right to self-identify, and we're committed to updating the GRA to introduce self-declaration for trans people.
We don't think that self-identification is the right way forward.
Is it transphobic to say only women have a cervix?
Well, it is something that shouldn't be said. It is not right.
Starmer could lead a revolution and still make it feel like an HR meeting. He politely nudges the status quo left if everyone agrees, and no one raises their voice. So risk-averse, he checks if cappuccino foam is controversial. His strategy: never upset anyone, fine for a cat calf, useless for a country. Starmer's idea of relatability? Eating a sandwich with a knife and fork while reading a spreadsheet. Offending no one, inspiring even fewer. Swap him for a screensaver, the polls wouldn't care.
Just as I say, this is the most cynical tactic. And I, at any rate, don't believe a word of what Keir Starmer says. I have heard politician after politician, Labour and Conservative, say this for decades. They always say the same pabulum. They say when they feel like they might need to just sort of enforce the base a bit, they say these things like, I think that people should speak English if they come to England. And everyone's meant to say, my gosh, what an amazing breakthrough. It doesn't matter a darn if you're losing your country all the time because you don't enforce.
Douglas didn't raise his voice. He just showed that Starmer's weapon is plausible deniability. I didn't say that. I didn't promise that. I didn't mean it like that. It was a public autopsy of a political illusion, with Starmer arriving late, apologising, and offering only vague intentions and recycled slogans. He consults PR before frowning, and the media pretends this cautious play is strategy, impressing no one while trying not to offend anyone.